Welcome to Spiritual Street Fighter, a fighting game podcast about how gaming affects your life and life affects your gaming. This is episode 2. Is gaming selfish? How to be of service in the fighting game community. Last fall, after not touching an arcade stick for a literal decade, I unretired from competitive Street Fighter. One of the reasons I stopped playing back in 2012 was a growing concern that spending countless hours grinding a fighting game is a predominantly selfish pursuit. And let me say right away that it can be just that. Playing video games is not exactly curing cancer, and the nature of fighting games specifically, more than that of many other genres, lends itself to a fierce, sometimes unfriendly competitive mentality. It lends itself to zero-sum thinking. In layman's terms, according to this mindset, I'm spending a lot of my life trying to kick some stranger's ass and perhaps even trying to make my opponent feel stupid. And that's the best case result. The worst case? That's losing. And let's not even go there right now. But I grew a lot between 2012 and 2022, and I've come to see that life and playing fighting games are, thankfully, much more nuanced than that. Even as a more self-centered younger man in the early Street Fighter 4 days, I recognized the Herculean efforts of tournament organizers and those behind-the-scenes folks who make possible the legendary events that we cherish. I didn't actively show my gratitude as much as I wish I had, but I did recognize that by making tournaments possible, they were serving a cause bigger than themselves. I even found some appreciation for the strong players who took the time to post tutorials and tips on YouTube or Shoryuken's forums, though I cynically suspected that they doled out just a few of their many secrets, and mostly for clout at that. But now I see that those are just two of countless ways to be of service as a gamer. Not only does the FGC have specific needs, but also the fighting game community is, well, a community, and a community is a group of people. And fighting game players, just like people in any other area of life, quite frankly, need help, support, and, dare I say, love. In my new era of participation in the FGC, I feel called to give something back too. I can't live with myself if I spend thousands of hours playing Street Fighter and all I get from it is the fleeting rush of victory, a few bucks if I'm lucky, and a smattering of epic replays that I get to tweet out for some virtual glory. I don't want to merely grind online, show up for some tournaments, get amped when I win, and get annoyed when I lose. I want more. The good news is that I was already getting, and giving, much more by playing fighting games than I ever realized, and you probably are too. In this video, what I want to ask not only you, but also myself is this. What would playing fighting games with a spirit of service look like to you? Here are some examples of service opportunities in the FGC. First, and most importantly, being kind and welcoming to your fellow fighting game players. Practicing good sportsmanship in victory and defeat. Celebrating your friends' victories. Consoling your friends in defeat and talking them through what went wrong and hyping them up again. Helping people with their hardware and sticks. Providing advice and technical support regarding PCs, consoles, or monitors. Volunteering at major tournaments, thanking the tournament organizers and support staff for their hard work, running a local offline tournament, pitching in at a local offline tournament, running an online tournament, pitching in at an online tournament, starting a fighting game venue, even if it's a casual one in your basement, making posters or graphic arts for tournaments, spreading the word about tournaments and events on social media or by directly inviting friends, carpooling to tournaments or coordinating travel and lodging for your friends or local scene, organizing training sessions and inviting people to play offline or even online, supporting streams, creating a training group, creating or funding a gaming team, drawing art inspired by fighting games and sharing it online or at events, performing or recording fighting game music, remixing fighting game music, sharing what you learn from training mode on public forums and or with your friends, sharing publicly or with your friends what has helped you get better at fighting games in general, teaching new players how to play, helping your friends get better, giving your online opponents matchup pointers after sets, complimenting players on their skills, pointing out not only where opponents can improve, but also what they did well, uploading epic or funny or informative replays of your games and sharing them, making highlight reels, helping other players with their videos, making funny fighting game memes, creating tutorial videos or articles, answering gameplay questions online, running a fighting game website, starting a Discord for your community, and the simplest of all, showing up to events and sessions. Just by showing up in person, we make the scene better. Some of these actions will call to certain people more than others, given our different skills and personalities, but everyone has something to offer the FGC. I've been the blessed recipient of almost all of these forms of service at one time or another, and I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, especially those who've gone out of their way to show me kindness and mentorship. You might recognize in this list of service opportunities things you've already done for your friends and scene, and you might not think these things you've done were that big a deal, and maybe they weren't. But remember, you never know what positive impact you're having on someone. Sometimes a supposedly small act of kindness changes someone's life. If you've made it with me this far, hear me out. Maybe something more is possible in fighting games than just winning and losing. Having fun is its own reward, sure, but maybe there's more to be discovered even than fun. I know many of you learned these lessons long before I did, but for those like me who are still figuring out this whole life thing or need to relearn these spiritual lessons over and over, let me ask you, what kinds of service call to you in the fighting game community? As a philosophy major and a longtime spiritual seeker, I've often asked myself, why do I love fighting games so much? Why do I play fighting games at all? What does it mean to win or lose? What am I trying to get out of this? One of the ways I hope I can contribute to the scene is by putting these questions and answers into writing and videos. Thus, my podcast and essay series, Spiritual Street Fighter, was conceived, and this is its birth. Technically, this is episode 2. I released the We Are All Losers episode first, thinking that it featured a better hook. Over the coming months, concurrent with the mythical and dramatic early days of Street Fighter 6, I hope to provide the community with some deep thoughts, if you will, not by Jack Handy, but by Po22222, Street Fighter 4 Akuma main, Third Strike Akuma and Ken, Street Fighter 6 Ken player, and one-time Mortal Kombat champion of Birmingham, Alabama. Sometimes after wrapping up an all-night Fightcade session, I feel guilty that I could have been working, which for me is making music, or helping the homeless. And this little form of outreach and creativity is my bargain with myself, my attempt to go beyond just having fun and striving for W's, my attempt to offer just a little bit more. Maybe you can offer just a little bit more too. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.